Good morning, I'm Gretchen Ho. It is a Thursday, the 29th day of May, bringing you Morning Matters because your mornings matter. Let's get to the stories that matter today. On June 2, House prosecutors will present the articles of impeachment against Vice President Sara Duterte as the Senate convenes as an impeachment court to begin pre-trial proceedings. President Bongbong Marcos, meanwhile, reaffirms that he does not favor impeachment against VP Sara. Timor-Leste orders the immediate deportation of former Representative Arnie Teves, citing his unauthorized stay as a threat to national security. Officials warn that his presence could strain bilateral relations and undermine regional anti-crime efforts. And Private Hospitals Association President Dr. Jose Rene de Grano states that the 10 to 15% increase in hospital rates is due to inflation and exchange rate fluctuations, adding that the hike is essential for normal operations. Welcome to our program, Morning Matters, where we talk about the issues you need to know for the rest of your day. Now, first on the agenda. The Timor-Leste government has ordered the immediate deportation of former Representative Arnie Teves. Here is the report.
Former Negros Oriental Congressman Arnolfo Arnie Teves was arrested at his residence in Dili City, Timor-Leste. A video posted by Teves' son Axel on Facebook showed the expelled lawmaker clinging onto his Portuguese lawyer as they were taken away by alleged immigration police. According to Axel, Arnie and his attorney were not presented with any documents nor given any explanation. The two are currently under custody of Timor-Leste's Interior Ministry.
They just came in forcefully. They took him out forcefully. He was illegally kidnapped and is now illegally detained.
Teves was among those charged in connection with the killing of former Negros Oriental Governor Roel de Gamo and 9 others in 2023. Now the Timor-Leste government has ordered his immediate deportation. It cited Teves' lack of valid visa and the cancellation of his Philippine passport. Timor-Leste said Teves' prolonged stay without legal documentation poses a threat to national security and could harm bilateral ties and regional efforts to combat transnational crime. The government also imposed a 10-year ban on Teves' re-entry. Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police said they are prepared to detain Teves in their custodial facility if necessary.
Magpo-provide po kami ng mga pulis po nila. Meron naman po kaming security escort dito. Sabi ko lang, let us prepare yung custodial natin in case na kailangan po ng DOJ na meron pong taguan soon si Teves.
Meantime, Vice President Sara Duterte and Senator Imee Marcos have arrived in the Netherlands. Senator Marcos posted a photo with Duterte on Facebook with the caption, "Hindi kalamigan, basta't kasama ang kaibigan." The Vice President is expected to visit her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, who is currently detained at the International Criminal Court. Earlier, former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque confirmed that an event in The Hague is being planned for VP Sara's upcoming birthday. President Bongbong Marcos visited the National Food Authority warehouse in San Ildefonso, Bulacan on May 28. Now, he was accompanied by Agriculture Secretary Francisco Tiu Laurel and NFA Administrator Larry Lacson. During the visit, Marcos met with farmers who raised concerns about being underpaid by traders for their harvested palay. He said he will study implementing a floor price to ensure farmers receive fair pay and to protect their livelihood, highlighting its importance for food security. Marcos also emphasized the need for ongoing dialogue between the government and farmers to ensure policies meet their needs as part of efforts to strengthen agriculture and secure the food supply.
Pinag-aaralan namin, ginagaya namin kasi kagaya sa tobacco doon sa amin sa Ilocos, may floor price. So never bababa dun sa floor price. So pinag-aaralan namin magkaroon ng floor price para wala namang malugi. Kasi pagka masyadong malikot yung presyo, hindi tayo makapagplano na maganda eh.
Armed Forces Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner dismisses rumors of an internal unrest. In a statement, Browner declared that there would be no coup d'etat under his leadership. He reaffirmed the military's loyalty to the Constitution and the chain of command. The general also warned against spreading disinformation that could undermine public trust in the military. Talks of internal unrest in the AFP have been swirling since the ICC arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte back in March. Don't go away. We'll be back with more stories right after a short break. Good morning, I'm Gretchen Ho, and here on Morning Matters, we talk about the most pressing issues and give you the context behind the headlines. The House Prosecution Panel will read impeachment articles against Vice President Sara Duterte next week. Here is the report.
Next Monday, June 2, House prosecutors are expected to read the articles of impeachment against Vice President Sara Duterte. The Senate will also convene as the impeachment court, marking the start of the pre-trial process. But President Bongbong Marcos insists that if asked, he does not want an impeachment against VP Sara. However, he said he cannot tell his allies in the House on what to do.
How many times do you have to say that? I didn't want impeachment. Lahat ng kakampi ko sa Kongreso hindi nag-file ng impeachment complaint. Yung mga nag-file ng impeachment complaint, hindi mo masasabing kaya kong utusan o pagsabihan na ito yung gagawin mo. So, why do I have to keep explaining that I did not want impeachment?
One of the House prosecutors, Iloilo 3rd District Representative Lawrence Defensor, responded to the president's remarks. He said it is proper that the president does not interfere to avoid influencing the senator judges.
And I'm glad to hear that the president, as the head of the executive department, will not interfere with the impeachment process. As the president is the most powerful man in the country, he will exert undue influence on the senator judges, and we want the senator judges to act independently, free from any influence from the executive department.
However, Senator-elect Tito Soto, who will return to the 20th Congress, said the incoming senators may still debate whether the impeachment trial should proceed. The main legal question is whether the 20th Congress has jurisdiction over the case that started in the 19th Congress.
Ang suspecha ko, ang gagawin nila sa June 2 o June 3, kung ano man yung personada nila, mag-o-oath sila. They will constitute themselves as an impeachment court. And the 12 or the 24 members will take their oath as members of the impeachment court. Pero the work of the 12 who will end their term will end by June 13. And by June 30, hindi na sila member ng Senado. Except the re-electionist. No? So, pagdating ng July 1, hindi pa yan. July 28 pa lang, yung mga bago, kung sila ba ay mag-o-oath as members of the impeachment court, kasama nito mga dati, or didebatihin nila yung issue yan.
But for Defensor, the trial must continue without interruption.
Tandaan natin na kapag nagtapos ang 19th Congress, ang nagtatapos lang ang aming legislative power. Hindi natatapos ang isang impeachment proceeding na nakahain na sa Senado.
House lawmakers have raised concerns after the names of lawyer Shel Jokno and actress Marian Rivera appeared in documents linked to Vice President Sara Duterte's controversial confidential fund. House Assistant Majority Leader Zia Alonto Adiong questioned the authenticity of the names in the acknowledgement receipts submitted by the Office of the Vice President to the Commission on Audit. He stressed the need for a forensic review to determine whether the signatures were genuine or forged. While Adiong acknowledged that Marian Rivera could be a common name, Adiong found the inclusion of Shel Jokno suspicious. These names add to a growing list of alleged fictitious recipients connected to the confidential funds, including Mary Grace Piatos, Jay Camote, and Miggy Mango. And with that, let's bring in House Assistant Majority Leader and Lanao del Sur Representative Zia Alonto Adiong. He joins us today on Morning Matters. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gretchen. Thank you
Hindi ko
for
po alam
having
kung
me.
matatawa ako kasi. Pero kayo po ay nagsabi na parang medyo ludicrous itong seeing their names. Bakit naman hindi ka panipaniwala?
Well, kasi
Marian Rivera and Shell Jokno were recipients of this.
Because there's already the precedents during when the time we had the investigation sa good government, we already saw mga hindi kapanipaniwalang mga pangalan. I mean, we have unearthed some documents, acknowledgement receipts, na merong same names but different signatures. Meron namang same signatures but different names. And there are names also that, parang isang restaurant, isang chicheria. And so when the names Shell Jokno and Marian Rivera came out, it reinforces that the questions na whether these people are really do exist or whether these are made up characters. And so that's the reason why we had to request the assistance of NBI and PSA to be able to really verify whether these names whether these persons really do have these names.
How many ARs are we talking about here?
That's about,
that you're looking into?
Well, it's about, I forgot the exact number, but it's in thousands.
Madami. So
Marami talaga siya because it covers the confidential funds, the utilization of the VP, Office of the Vice President, and the Department of Education when she was then the secretary of that department. So it covers a lot of acknowledgement
so you're looking into all the ARs
We
of
have to
confidential
verify.
funds for both offices.
Yeah, but that's because of the ICFAO din This is also brought about, well, essentially because of the notice of disallowances, right? And according kasi sa joint circular, there's a way to really verify, and once you submit kasi a confidential funds, for example, a recipient for the confidential funds, sinasabi kasi nila these are all code names kasi you have to protect the identity.
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct. And
But who is
agree
that
with that.
authentic list with?
That's exactly the question that we want to find out, because according to the joint circular, even if you have like code names to protect the identity of the informant, you have to have a documents that would really say that these code names are being used by this person with these real names. So that should
You haven't gotten a hold of that document.
That's supposed to be submitted to ICFAO.
To
ICFAO. This is the division where under the Commission on Audit. This is exactly the division where the confidential funds are being audited. So may separate talaga siya na division under COA.
have we tried to get a hold of them?
That's the report of COA kasi wala ngang acknowledgement receipts lang ang natanggap nila. So they don't know whether Kokoy Villamin or Mary Grace Piatos or Shell Diokno or Marian Rivera, they don't know exactly whether these are code names or these are real persons. That's why because of the detachments are simply missing.
What is the plan to verify their authenticity para na malalaman kung forged yung signatures?
I guess the PSA and the NBI have that capacity to verify, to do forensic examination on signatures and specimen of signatures. So remember during the the early days of the investigation and inquiry, ng good government, we have already required the assistance of NBI and PSA to do exactly that. Because it's really hard for us, and for the COA, sila nagsabi, it's really hard for them to really know whether these names do have, first, whether these names really do exist. I mean, the persons with those names. No? Secondly is whether these names or these persons have indeed received certain amount from the confidential funds, whether they are informant or the department or in this case OVP or DepEd had purchased the information. Kasi dalawa kasi yan You have the purchase of information and the reward for the information gathered. So, yun ang gustong
At kung
malaman.
anong impormasyon.
And kung anong impormasyon ang nakuha.
Oh. But will this be the primary evidence in the upcoming impeachment trial? Itong mga resibo na ito.
Yeah, yes. They are part of they're one of those verified articles of impeachment that we have approved and submitted to the Senate. I guess on June 2, they will present the verified complaints by the prosecution
With
team.
the evidence that you have, are you confident of a conviction? Because we do know that there was an overwhelming vote in the House for the impeachment, 215 signatures, but it's a different dynamic in the Senate with the current composition and with the showing of the Dutertes in the elections.
Yes.
Medyo there are those who say that an acquittal is more possible. Are you confident with the evidence?
We're conscious with the evolution on how this the narrative, the discussion is developing now, because we understand that the case, the impeachment court is not entirely legal.
It is
but
political
also as
in
well as
terms of
political.
exercise.
We do understand that senators, some of them have already signified their dismay. Their frustration. Some of them even displayed dismay. That has already displayed yung pagiging dismaya nila, because of what we have did in the House.
What would be crucial, do you think, to get it to a conviction, to get the numbers?
Well, I do personally. I personally do. I'm still optimistic and do expect that the Senate, as an institution, will take in a impartial stand on the matter. That they will judge the impeachment proceedings based on the merits of the evidence that will be presented by the prosecution. So I guess once the impeachment trial starts, public perception may sway towards different direction. So I'm really optimistic that with the evidences that we have by the prosecution, things will be unfolded in a way that people would now realize that this issue that we have right now is not really directed against a single person. It is about upholding what the Constitution says, upholding the principle that no one is above the law, and holding anybody, especially in the government, accountable for his or her action.
Speaking of public sentiment, there are those who say that this is politically motivated because of the point that you are just looking into the office of the Vice President. At meron din namang confidential funds. Yung iba, katulad ng Office of the President na mas malaki pa nga. And yung iba pang opisina na tinatanong mo kung bakit may confidential funds sila. What would you say to that? I mean, isn't the House supposed to be opening up also the conversation on those ARs of other offices?
Just to be fair, any offices that enjoys the confidential funds should be should not be free from any scrutiny, from the House or from the Senate, for that matter. But the issue here is that it's the COA that says that there are certain
notices of disallowances.
Yeah, there are violations that were committed by this agency. It's not really the House of Representatives or any institution, for that matter, that came out with these reports. And so, if you're discussing about any other agencies, if there are allegations of misuse, allegations of abuse, then I'm certainly 100% would support any form of inquiry to that agency.
Pagdating sa trial, would the COA serve as the primary witness?
I suppose probably, but I cannot give you a firm answer to that question, because number one, I do not want to preempt what would the strategy of the prosecution team.
Handa na.
I'm sure, because we're talking about public funds, and so the only agency that is tasked by the Constitution, in fact, the Constitutional Commission, ang COA, diba? Constitutional body, is the one that has that mandate, has the obligation to audit public expenses, is COA. So if for example, it came to a point where the discussion centers on the utilization of the confidential funds as brought about by the acknowledgement receipt, so probably yes, as we have seen in the previous impeachment trials of the late CJ Corona, where BIR was also requested to attend as a witness to the impeachment trial of CJ
Wala
Corona.
naman
So
sigurong uupo na nakatanggap nitong confi funds unless maglalakas loob. Ano?
That's part of the discussion, I guess, once they will present the evidence and their by the prosecution to the Senate convening as an impeachment court. Yeah, that would depend on how they would discuss the evidences, the presentation of their witnesses.
Well, the president has distanced himself from this impeachment. Sinabi niya he never wanted it in the first place. But he also confirmed in an interview that there were discussions with the Speaker and the House leaders on the impeachment. Ano nga ba yung mga plano? And pati yung anak niya was the first to sign. How do we believe his statement that he did not want this in the first
Well,
place?
from the very beginning, the president has been consistent with his position. Remember when he was asked, ambush interview, sabi niya, ang description pa niya is it's a storm on a teacup. That's how
Yes.
he describes it. So he's been very consistent with his position that he does not want to get involved directly. Malacanang does not want to get involved directly with impeachment. No? And I do agree with him. Previous couple of months ago, I was also asked the same question, and I said we should insulate the office of the president from the impeachment trial because we don't want to have the impression that the Malacanang is putting all its weight to pressure these senator judges.
Pero sinabi rin niya na sa anak niya na do your duty. Tapos ngayon, it might seem that he is taking a step back, kumakambyo dahil sa resulta ng halalan.
But his son is a congressman. He represents a certain district in Ilocos Norte. And he do understand the separation of powers. And it is actually the duty of the congressmen, members of the House, to file for an impeachment court when there is a concerned group or citizens. Anybody can actually file for an impeachment trial against any public official, impeachable of officers, no? Kasi non-numerated naman yung mga officers na po pwedeng impeach. And so may nag-file may nag-file ang church religious group. There are also several CSOs that have filed, individuals, citizens, who have filed for an impeachment case against
Pero posible
Sara
ba
Duterte.
yun na pipirma yung anak niya na walang approval ng tatay niya?
Actually, I do not know the dynamics, the family
Pati
dynamics.
ang house usually hindi gumagalaw na walang approval ng presidente.
But I
di
do
ba?
not know. I do not know the family dynamics. I cannot answer that. But ako, I laud Congressman Marcos because he has stood his ground. He has.
President, you mean? President Marcos?
Yeah, and
Congressman
Congressman Sandro
Okay.
Marcos because that you would know kung na hindi kumbaga they respect each other's position and they respect each other's role as the one as president, the one that heads our bureaucracy, our government. And Congressman Marcos as a representative of those people with that duty given to him by the Constitution.
To be honest, some others hope that the president would take a firmer stance on this because it might also make it seem that he's flip-flopping, imbis na parang to fight against corruption, to strengthen his stance against that, and baka maging lukewarm, no? Yung trial dahil hindi siya tumindig.
I look at it in a different way, angle, no. I see Malacanang give separate, respecting the separation of powers. Isn't it that the thing that we all expect to see from the president that heads a separate branch of government? So yun ang tingin ko eh. I think he respects the institution, both chambers, and they would allow how the Senate would appreciate the case and give them the discretion to either to acquit or to convict based on their own judgment on how they would appreciate the evidences that would be presented by both the defense and the prosecution.
The House will send its prosecution panel.
Yeah.
What would be the role exactly in the trial?
Well, they will present the evidence. They will prosecute. They will they will have...
Sila ang ano talaga?
Yes. Sila yung
Magta-try.
magta-try, silang magta-try daw. Sila yung magbibigay ng mga ebidensya. Sila magsasabi na ito yung mga kasalanan. And yun naman, yung defense naman na magsasabi na...
Do we expect the Vice President to show up?
I don't know. I really couldn't say. No, that would entirely depend on how the defense would do their strategy. Whether that could probably her presence could probably boost their chances of acquittal.
Really?
Then yeah, that would
Do we have an
entirely
idea
depend.
who their defense would be?
Doon hindi ko rin alam.
Wala pang
Yeah,
update
wala
doon.
pa akong update.
Although
kung
the
sino
Vice
yung mga-
President has said she wants a bloodbath.
Oh, okay.
How do we
Yeah.
expect the proceedings to go? I mean, for those who probably are not so aware of how impeachment goes.
I guess the senators want to see evidences and not really blood spilled on the Senate floor. No? I guess I guess what we want to see really are facts and evidences, real documents that would prove all the individual complaints. That's what the Filipino deserve and the public deserve, to know really the truth. This is a constitutional obligation of both chambers, the Senate and the House. And so we hope that we do not see anything that would turn sideways, na magkakaroon pa ng sobrang yung nga sinasabi mong sobrang patuhan ng
In the
hindi
event that
magagandang
there
salita.
is an acquittal, could this case be pursued legally through our courts?
I guess so, because the impeachment court is a separate with the penalty of perpetual disqualification. There's no there's no jail term naman doon so it's simply kumbaga, the person holding the office will no longer be fit to continue serving and with the penalty of perpetual disqualification from holding public
What
office.
if the Vice President resigns before any conclusion is met?
There are several legal opinions that says that it can continue on because this voluntary resignation does not necessarily equate into perpetual disqualification. The case of the impeachment trial, once the person is found guilty, the penalty would be perpetual disqualification.
So pwedeng may
if
nagsasabi na pwedeng ituloy yung
There are
trial.
legal, there are lawyers who say that
Okay.
should continue on because
But
the
who
penalty.
will decide? Who will decide on that? Is it the
sorry.
Supreme Court or is it also the Congress? Kasi parang pag pinag-decide mo yung Supreme Court at hindi sumunod itong Congress natin or House of Representatives natin, hindi ba magkakaroon ng constitutional crisis naman doon?
The impeachment the impeachment issue naman is granted to both chambers and the Senate acting as an impeachment court. So it's a separate trial. I don't see in any way how the Supreme Court may intervene insofar as the court proceeding is concerned and how the actual trial will be conducted. No?
Before we get there though, before we get to the more advanced stages, there is a question over jurisdiction.
Oh, yeah.
At kung mapapasa itong usapin na ito from the 19th to the 20th Congress, how do you expect to hurdle that challenge first?
Well, our position, there are several legal opinions, interpretation. Our position, if you ask me, my position is that the Constitution is clear that the Senate will try, the House will prosecute. Meaning to say, it speaks about the institution and not necessarily the members of that institution. No? So The Senate naman is continuing body, no? And that the Constitution says that the impeachment, the lower house will impeach the official, and then once the House impeaches a certain official, then the Senate will try it for trial. So para sa
Confident naman
akin,
kayo.
it's not really tied with the actual members of the Senate, but the Constitution speaks about the Senate as an institution.
On a final note, there are rumors of a leadership shakeup in the House. Kinonfirm sa atin ng Liberal Party na tumawag sa kanila ang Office of the Speaker to join the supermajority, pero dininay naman nila na meron ng silang mga miyembro na sumali. What would you say to that? At sino yung pinakamalaking challenger ng House Speaker for...
Sa ngayon, si Speaker lang talaga yung nakakuha ng 280 plus support.
Hindi ba si Pulong?
Wala akong narinig na meron talagang officially na nagsabi na tatakbo siya. Although narinig ko na rin sa balita na parang inuudyok siya ng kanyang kapatid na tumakbo na Speaker. So far wala pa naman. But what I can tell you, Gretchen, is that 200 plus members of the House who already signified their support for Speaker Martin Romualdez as the Speaker for the 20th Congress is more than enough to be confident about the retention
Okay,
of
meron po
Speaker
kasi
Martin
nagsasabi
Romualdez.
na kaya hindi naging maganda yung resulta ng halalan para sa administrasyon ay dahil nga hindi nasagot ng government itong issue sa budget. That was, of course, stemmed from the discussions over in the House. And the Speaker also presided over. What would you say to that? I mean, you express confidence in his leadership, but also may nagsasabi na baka ito yung dahilan kaya hindi naging maganda yung approval rating ng Pangulo.
There are several reasons, no? Kasi alam mo naman pag election, talagang hindi mo ma-predict ang pulso ng taong bayan. In fact, ang mga surveys nagsasabi ito yung papasok sa Magic 12 pero hindi rin pala pumasok. We can venture into guessing games kung what are the reasons, but there are plenty. And probably one of the things that came out from this election is one, you cannot really predict what's going to be the result of the election. Number two is that anything that can probably help the public in gauging what are the priorities of a certain administration, whether they approve that or not, they do reflect that in the way how they choose their leaders. So yun ang dalawang alam ko. But I agree with you, that could be one of the reasons why. But since, as far as the House of Representatives is concerned, we followed what the Constitution says. We have meticulously assess all the proposals, the budget proposals, not only for this year but even those previous years. The process by which we have concluded the proposal, I mean the approval and the deliberation of the budget, 100% 100% na compliant with the rules and what the Constitution says. Whatever are the concerns and are the challenges before the court, I personally could not speak about that because it's sub judice principle. It's already pending before the Supreme Court. So I guess on the case of how the House of Representatives manages to deliver its commitment in its mandate as according to the Constitution, we did that in the previous years so far as approving the budget is concerned.
Abangan din namin ang final report mula sa Quad Committee, TRICOM at pati Committee on Good Governance this June 30. By June 30. What do you mean?
By
the end of the
before
the 19th
Yes,
Congress.
before the end of the 19th Congress.
Okay, maraming salamat for your time today and for sharing with us your point of view. We have a House Assistant Majority Leader and now the Sur Representative Zia Alonto Adiong. Stay tuned. The Morning Matters will be back after a quick break. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, has released a list of alternate routes in preparation for the government's massive EDSA rehabilitation efforts, which are scheduled to begin on June 13. In a Facebook post, the MMDA advised motorists to utilize 7 northbound and 15 southbound alternate routes. It also encouraged the public to use the designated Mabuhay lanes, which are intended to serve as quicker bypass options during major roadworks. The initiative is expected to cause heavy traffic along the major thoroughfare, prompting early measures to ease congestion. Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines Incorporated President Dr. Jose Rene de Grano said the 10 to 15% increase in hospital rate is driven by inflation and fluctuating exchange rates. De Grano explained that the rate hike is necessary to maintain normal operations. Level 2 and Level 3 hospitals, which provide advanced to the most comprehensive services and residency programs, have even adjusted rates by as much as 20%. He also noted that recent increases in PhilHealth benefits offer limited relief as they are offset by rising costs brought by inflation.
It's most probably a reaction of the hospitals during the last half of the year 2024 nung magkaroon tayo ng inflation, ano? So talagang because of the increase in the prices of the goods or basic supplies in the hospitals, and even the exchange rate of the that we usually use dollars for buying equipment, and that is those are the reasons why talagang tumaas po ang mga hospitalization costs ng private hospital.
Authorities are now investigating a viral incident where a man was seen emerging from a drainage canal in Makati City. The bizarre scene unfolded at the corner of VA Rufino and Adelantado streets, shocking passersby and motorists. Police say the drainage may have been used as a hideout or possibly even a drug den. Inspections also revealed traces of clothing, wires, and signs of human activity inside the narrow tunnel. The area has since been sealed to prevent further entry. Authorities are also tracking down the man in the video as part of an ongoing probe. Don't go away. More matters to discuss right after the break. Keep it here on One News. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. At this point, let's talk to one writer part of this Representative Rog Gutierrez regarding the No Contact Apprehension Policy or NCAP. Welcome to the show, Congressman.
Hi, Ma'am Gretchen. Good morning. Good morning po to all of our viewers.
Okay, Congressman, you recently filed a resolution calling for a congressional inquiry into the NCAP. Can you enumerate some of the unresolved issues that you brought up? Congressman?
Yes. Well, ma'am, actually,
Ayun.
if we would, I apologize, we have an unstable net. But
Yun.
yes, ma'am, actually, some of the unresolved issues that we see, we feel that if we could recall just the background there po, no, the NCAP was a hot issue around 2 or 3 years ago in 2022. This is not new. We were actually going to have an hearing already on it with the Committee of Transportation, and we already had a lineup of issues that we
Congressman, we're a little bit choppy.
out of deference to a cool branch of government, we had to stop.
Oo. Baka pag lumipat po kayo ng konti. Posisyon medyo mas malinaw. Oo. Right, I think we need just to adjust a little bit our internet connection. Let's take a quick break first as we get to that and get back to Congressman Rog Gutierrez. Don't go away. More matters to discuss right after a quick break. Keep it here. Welcome back. You're still with us here on Morning Matters on One News. The House of Representatives is looking into a proposal to shorten college to just 3.5 years. During a hearing yesterday, DepEd and SHED officials said 5 core senior high school subjects could be renamed and aligned with college-level courses, while 3 others could be dropped entirely. Now, this move aims to eliminate redundant bridging programs and reduce overall college course loads. The proposal comes after complaints that senior high graduates still face extra classes in college. In the world of sports, the Premier Volleyball League held its first ever awards night in Quezon City, recognizing standout athletes from the recent season. Thea Gagate of the Zeus Thunderbells was named Rookie of the Year, while Alyssa Eroa of the Gallery's Tower High Risers earned Comeback Player of the Year. Akari's Ellie Soyud took the Most Improved Player, and Chi Saet won Miss Quality Minutes. The Creamline Cool Smashers were awarded Team of the Year despite falling short in the All-Filipino Conference Finals. Other highlights included Farm Fresh's Trisha Tubu winning Best Opposite Spiker and the announcement of the PVL Mythical Team. The league plans to make the awards night an annual event. Meanwhile, over at the West Philippine Sea, the Atin Ito Coalition successfully held a concert near Pag-asa Island in the West Philippine Sea. Local and international artists performed, including P-pop group Horizon, who used their music to raise awareness and join the struggle. Chinese Coast Guard and militia vessels were seen monitoring the area, but did not interfere. For PETA Representative Melvin Lee, music is a powerful form of resistance and advocacy for humanity.
Isang pagpapatunay lang at pagpapakita dun sa ating mga frontliners, fisher folks and mga coast guards and all that, na hindi sila nag-iisa, na meron silang ka-aliado, kaagapay doon sa buong pagharap sa usapin ng West Philippine Sea.
Besides the concert, the coalition also distributed aid, including fuel, to fishermen on Pag-asa Island. Kiko Aquino D., nephew of former President Noynoy Aquino, joined the mission to show support for Philippine sovereignty.
None of us are really interested in going back into politics, pero ang hindi naman ibig sabihin nun is wala na kaming pake sa mga nangyayari sa bayan. So, syempre, lalo na at dahil yung arbitral ruling sa West Philippine Sea is isang napakalaking legacy ng Tito Noy ko, I think it was very important na sumama po tayo dito.
And now we bring back on the show one Rider Party List Representative, Congressman Rog Gutierrez, regarding the no-contact apprehension policy. He joins us over the line. Congressman, going back to my question, what do you think are the unresolved issues with the NCAP that need to be brought up again? It looks like we're having a difficult time getting to a congressman. We'll just have him over in the studio in the coming days. But for today, that wraps up our newscast and today's episode of Morning Matters. We hope we've given you the right start to your morning. Let's go ahead and make the day matter. My name is Gretchen Hall. We are One News, all sides, all the time.